This is the Cafe Racer Podcast, episode 112 for July 8th, 2017. I'm Crash.
And I'm Steven.
All right. I just thought about something while the intro music was playing. So I listen to podcasts at like 1.5 or 1.75 times the speed.
Why?
Like just so that I can like listen to more and get through them faster.
Okay.
And the voices don't sound weird. It just sounds because it mostly clips out the silences. So everybody sounds pretty much normal and you get used to it. Everybody starts to sound completely normal. And then if you turn it back down to 1x, it's like, this is the cafe. You're like, oh my God, did they really talk that slow? But music sounds hilarious.
I was going to say, do you listen to Coverville at 1.5?
No, I haven't listened to Coverville in a while, but music sounds really weird. There was, I was listening to Mark Maron's podcast, WTF, and he had a guest on that played a song. And I was like, this song sounds really stupid. Like it didn't sound right at all. And then I went and I turned it back to 1x and the song sounded completely different. I don't know. And not just the speed, like there was like a fuzziness to the music that just didn't sound right.
That just gave me an idea, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Like, what if you played a song that sounds really stupid at normal speed at 1.5?
I don't know.
Like Ween's Pushing Up Daisies. You ever heard that song?
Think I know. Maybe if I heard it.
It's really bizarre.
Okay.
And Ween has been around for a long time. They've got like 15 albums out, but pushing the little daisies up is, hold on. You know what? It's so weird. I'm going to play it on my phone so you can hear it. It's just where I heard it too was on an airplane. You know how you're like plugging those little cheesy speakers that you have?
Yeah.
And all right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Can you hear this?
Yeah, I've never heard this before, but
Wait,
okay.
It gets better.
Okay.
Can you imagine that at like 1.5 speed?
Yeah. A song that I heard I bet that would sound really weird. There's a song. I was listening to This American Life the other day, and they were talking about magic tricks, and they ended the podcast playing "It's Tricky" by Run DMC, and that song, because I think it might have to do with something about the fact that there's actually speaking voices in it, and the whatever algorithm they use to make make the audio faster is like optimized for voices. So Run DMC sounded fine. They just went really fast, like super, super fast.
So if you listen to this podcast at 1.5 or 1.75, let us know what the music sounds like.
Yeah, I also thought about it because some of you who listen may or may not have noticed that for a while the intro music has had this sort of crackly, like lo-fi quality to it. And I thought it was the cable I was using to plug my phone into the mixer to play the song. And then I realized it was the recording that was on my phone. And I tried many, many things to get a better recording. And eventually I got it working. Not using my phone now. But
it depends on if I mix the music, I use it from a digital file.
Yeah, you just go in and you drop it in.
Right.
Like you replace the
That's for the one on iTunes. Anything that's on YouTube, if you watch the show on the video on YouTube, you're going to get the
live recording version.
Yeah.
When I'm playing it off of a digital file as well, It's
It's
just
just a
for some
crappy
reason the
digital.
encoding on the digital file on my phone was not good. Anyway,
Mhm.
this isn't a podcast about podcasts or podcasting. This is a podcast about motorcycle stuff. So let's talk about how I killed the battery in my wife's car, because that's not related to motorcycles either.
Killed it like
Um,
dead, can't be
no,
recharged.
I was able to jump it.
Right.
I was driving around, so I organized a little like pizza sale at work, and so I had parked the car like right by my shop because my shop
Wait,
has
wait, wait,
doors
wait,
that
wait,
lead to
wait.
the parking
Ti-
lot.
Time out a second.
Yeah.
What do you mean a pizza sale? Like a bake sale? Like you're trying to raise money for the Navy?
Um, Kinda, only not raising money for the Navy as a whole. Um, the the First Class Association um, has money, and we raise money to like help support the command Christmas party and stuff. Because at the end of the year, the command puts on this big Christmas party, and it's like a like tens of thousands of dollars party. Um, and we always, we help pay for that. We also do other stuff with our money, like eat. Like we all go out to dinner sometimes, very rarely, but mostly the money goes towards like events that we put on at the command. Um, and so I was selling money, raising money, like selling pizza, raising money for our First Class Association.
Mm-hmm.
And so I pulled the car up and I parked it right outside my shop door because my shop opens up right to the parking lot. And I guess I left the keys in the car on purpose, but I didn't turn them off. I didn't turn the car off all the way. I left it in like accessory. So when I came out to start the car up later, it was dead. Like not even a click, nothing. Um, and my wife's Equinox is one of those cars where the battery is completely and totally hidden. So there's uh, the fuse box has arrows that have like a positive terminal. Like
Right.
it says, "Hey, here's the positive terminal, numbnuts," because obviously you can't get to the battery. So I popped the cover off the fuse box, and I have one of those little battery jump starters, those little lithium battery things, um, that are like anti-gravity makes them. There's a ton of companies on Amazon you can find. Um, so yeah, I have one on the bike, and then I have one in her car. So I pulled that thing out, and it didn't start the car at first, but then I just kind of let it sit on there for a little bit, and the car kind of gave like a real hesitant, like, okay, I'm going to start now. Started up, and then I drove it around for a little bit.
I got to get one of those.
It was really nice. I mean, I didn't have to go find jumper cables or find another car to start my car with. I just,
Yeah, I really want to get one.
clipped a thing about the size of, like it's like
It's like
a
two.
few cell phones stacked on top
Yeah.
of each other.
Right. Like 2 decks of cards, maybe.
Yeah, this one's probably like 6 inches long and like 2 inches thick,
Yeah.
and maybe 3 or 4 inches wide. Like, and I have one on the bike too. I've used the one on the bike several times.
I think that's where I really want it for the bike, because the one that they have from a couple of the companies, I think anti-gravity, it just plugs in the SAE connection.
Yeah.
Put your battery
Um,
tender and you're good to go.
yep. That's all I have. I have the harness that anti-gravity gives you if you don't have an SAE connection or you don't want to use it. Because I don't have an SAE connection anymore. I have that powerlet plug, but
Right.
it's fused, so it won't. If I tried to jump the bike through it, it just blows the fuse.
Right.
So the other one from anti-gravity, I think is still fused, but it's a lot higher ampage.
Yeah, I need to put a pigtail on mine because the battery on the KTM is a pain in the ass to get to. I've got one on the Moto Guzzi because I keep that on a trickle charger all the time. And I'm actually in the process right now, and I need to kind of figure this out. So, we had Dana on the show, a guest, and she got me hooked up with a like storage facility that a lot of motorcyclists use. Matter of fact, a couple of the areas in there they call Motorcycle Row.
Oh, cool.
And it's kind of neat. Everybody that's in there has like little garages built out, so they just don't have a little warehouse. They've actually got like Like Dana's has like a loft with a refrigerator and a bench, and she's got fans in there. And
Nice.
she's got 5 bikes. She can go in there and work on bikes if she needs to, change oil. It's kind of neat. So she kind of got me in line for one of those, and I got one that's like 20 by 11. So
That's a good size.
yeah, I'm just now starting to move some stuff over there to make it like a little shop. That way I can kind of clean out the garage and use the garage for storage of a vintage truck that we have. But it's kind of neat. So I need to figure out the whole battery tender arrangement in there because I want to have both the bikes on battery tenders. Most people have, there's only like one power outlet in there, but they've run, you know, like a junction box with extension cords and everything, like heavy duty, you know, 10 gauge extension cords that are short, so they're not picking up a lot of resistance. But
The I think Optimate and probably some other people makes like a multi-battery charger unit too that you can just plug into one plug and then hook multiple batteries to it.
I think, but those aren't the Optimate ones just for their batteries?
No, you can use the Optimate ones. Optimate is that one that if you listen to Cleveland Moto, Phil is always talking about that will like revive the most dead of dead batteries imaginable. Like you could pull a car battery off the ocean floor and like revive it with an Optimate.
Oh man, I have to start doing that. Go to the junkyard and get all the rotten ones and
right and see if it works.
Yeah, I actually rode the Gucci last week.
I saw that.
Yeah, it's just like a temperamental Italian girlfriend. It
who doesn't want one of those? I mean, come on.
Yeah, right. You know, somebody you can throw your money at and works when she wants to, starts when she wants to. It was just bizarre. I go in there to start her up and she cranks right up, you know, and then fired up like 3 times, no problem during the ride. So some weird electrical gremlin. I'll probably go to my death, never figuring out what's wrong with this thing.
That's quite possible.
But it was fun getting out on that bike again. It was hotter than Hades down here. It's been in the 90s with 100% humidity.
I went out a couple of weeks ago and visited my parents in Mesa, and it was 110 like every day.
Yeah, I heard they were actually canceling flights into some of the airports in Arizona because it was too hot.
Probably like blow the tires up or something.
So I was going to ride today, and instead I dragged out my bicycle.
Yeah, I saw you posted in Slack a picture of it.
Yeah, I haven't gotten on the bike in a while, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, I really need to get some exercise in. So I did like some sprints for 10 miles. So
cool.
I got this really nice bike that just sits in the garage. So I figured, let me dust it off and take it out for a ride.
Is it carbon fiber?
Yeah, it's a carbon fiber Ridley.
Yeah.
I had that bike built when I retired from the fire department the first time. And it's, you know, it wasn't like an entry-level cheap bike, and it wasn't a really expensive bike. It's kind of middle of the road, but there's a place in Boca Raton, Florida. I'll give them a little shout out because they're kind of cool. It's called Racer's Edge, but they don't really have any bikes in the showroom. They just have like the system for fitting, and they kind of fit you for the bike first and then decide what your price range is, how much you want to spend, and then they kind of guide you in a direction from there. So I kind of gave them a price range, and they made some recommendations. But the coolest thing about these guys, you know, besides the system that they use, they put like little reflective dots on you, and you sit on a bike that's adjustable and spin, and they videotape you, and then it comes up with all these calculations for like seat height and stem length and all that crap. But the really cool thing about this place is they have a wall of seats. So they kind of make a recommendation for a few seats based on your weight and your riding style, and you can take the seat with you, ride it, and then if you like it, they'll, you know, give you a new one for that model. If not, they swap it out for something different. You ride that a little bit. So it's a way of getting a seat without having to go spend money and buy one and return it and buy one and return it.
Yeah, that's always been an issue. Like when I was mountain biking pretty regularly, finding a seat, because I would like a seat and then ruin it or something, you know, mountain biking, and then go like, hell, you know, maybe I'll try something different because this had, you know, on paper sounds like the best seat in the world, and I'd get it, and it just wouldn't work for me.
Yeah, it's such a personal thing, you know?
Yes.
It's kind of like motorcycle seats too. When you have people that swear by Corbin, and then you get on one and you're like, holy cow, this is like sitting on a 2x4.
Yeah, Corbins are really firm, and some people love that. Uh, and then I'm generally okay with the stock seat on most motorcycles. I'm not super bothered by them. And other people are like, the second they buy a bike, want to throw the stock seat away because I think it's absolute garbage. I don't.
I think a lot of it too has to do with weight. Like how they say a motorcycle's designed for a 160-pound person. I think when it comes to seat padding, there's been seats I've sat on stock motorcycles, like the one on the Moto Guzzi's fine. I've never had a problem with it. The one on the Stelvio was, honest to God, like a 2-hour seat, and that was it.
Yeah.
But an Airhawk solved that problem completely.
I saw one of those in person for the first time.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I liked it. One of the guys I rode with the other day at work had one on his Harley.
The trick with an Airhawk is everybody overinflates them. And then they're like, nah, this thing's weird. You really just put like 2 puffs of air in it, and that's it. And I mean puffs. Because what happens is you're compressing the seat, so that little bit of air that's in there tends to distribute around and float in the sections where it needs to be. Then you got guys that swear by like the Alaska sheepskin. There's some guys that swear by the bead rider. It's just a subjective thing. So it kind of comes down to the same way with a bicycle seat. The people that go out there and they think they've got to buy this really wide gel foam padded seat, they can't ride it. They're miserable,
Yeah, it interferes with your legs.
Yeah. And the seat that I'm wearing is a Sella SMP, and it's got a split in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's super comfortable. The most I've ever done on that bike is probably 65 miles, and was fine. It takes a little while to get used to when you haven't ridden for a while. You kind of have to build up that, that area.
Like calluses around your sit bones.
Yeah, and it really matters if you have a good pair of chamois and you use like chamois butter or butt butter, they call it. My cousin used to race for Jameis, and he said that they would use like A&D ointment, and just like load that chamois up with A&D, and it was fine. But anyway, now we're not talking about motorcycles again. But
yeah, this is not a motorcycle podcast, everyone. This is a everything else podcast, I guess.
Right, everything today but motorcycles. We did talk about motorcycle seats just slightly,
just briefly. And speaking about motorcycle seats, Chuck from Wheel Nerds just got a new one on the GS. He rode it to somewhere in California.
When did Chuck get a GS?
What's that?
When did he get a GS?
I don't know. He just recently got I think it's an 1150.
So I saw a picture of that, and I'm like, did he borrow that bike or?
No, yeah, he bought. I think he traded in the. What did he trade in? I don't know. I think he traded in something, and he bought a 1150 GS in yellow.
Yeah, well, that's a cool. I know that model. That's a cool one.
Yeah, it's a solid bike too. Like that, those were, I think, more reliable than the 1200s. Like the next, the newer, like the 1200s that came right after them. Because I know the 1200s kind of had some final drive problems, but yeah, that 1150 was really well dialed in. He just rode out and got a seat, and it got me and Chuck were messaging back and forth a little bit on Facebook while he was, kind of like on his way to and from. And there was this guy. I wish I could remember his name. When I was in Virginia living there, and this guy who was like known to be like a super good motorcycle seat guy.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was talking to the owner of the Triumph dealership about maybe getting a seat done, and he's like, "Hey, go to this guy, but set an alarm on your phone for like 30 minutes after you walk in the door, because he will not stop talking. You need something to interrupt you and go, oh, hey, I got to take this, and then just leave." And they're like, also, he's really weird. Just really, really weird. And I was like, all right. I never ended up going to the guy, but I looked him up later. I can't remember his name, but I looked him up later, and he was like really big on the Soviet Steeds, the Ural forum,
Mhm.
and like super well known on there as like, oh yeah, this guy makes the best seats. I sent my Ural seat in there, and blah blah. You know, like all these people like raving about how good of a job he did. And I kind of wanted to go in. Like I wish that I had gone in and like gotten to make a seat, or at least gone in and seen if he was as weird as I had been led to believe.
Right. Well, I had kind of an experience with a seat manufacturer that I'm not going to mention the guy's name because I kind of had a hard time dealing with him. Where I met the guy in Daytona, got measured, took photographs, and he said it's going to be. And this was one of the things where I had to send my seat to him. And that's when I had the V-Strom, and it was supposed to take like 2 or 3 weeks. Well, 3 months later, I'm having to call this guy's daughter and say, look, you need to tell your dad to get a hold of me. In all fairness, when I finally got the seat, that seat lasted for 10 years. And I had a lot of miles on that bike. It was a great seat. Huh?
Was this on the V-Strom?
Yeah, on the V-Strom. And I had 70,000 miles on that bike. That it was one of those things where this was a guy working out of his garage, kind of probably similar to the same guy for the Soviet Steeds website, where he had a full-time regular job. He didn't just make seats for a living. And whatever was going on in his life, he got backed up. And, he finally got a hold of me and apologized and finally got the seat to me. But it was phenomenal. It was a great seat. It's just that I should have probably bought another V-Strom seat on eBay because I couldn't ride for almost 3 months.
True. Like when you give up you give up the seat to go.
That's kind of what happened with I had to give the seat to Sargent for the KTM. And now my seat and a couple other guys, those were prototypes that they built. Now they actually produce that seat on their own pan.
Yeah.
For the 1290.
Chuck did one of those deals where you ride in and the guy makes a seat there and then you ride home.
Who did it for Chuck? That same guy?
No, a guy. I'm trying to think. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like LAAM, like lamb or lam or something.
Oh, right. I know who that is. Yeah.
Yeah, Chuck rode out there. He said it took about 6 hours, and he was done. I know, like Todd has that Russell day-long seat.
Russell Daylong, yeah.
Yeah. I have the stock seat from a Thruxton on the Bonneville.
And you don't have a problem with it, right? You like it.
Yeah, and then Jess's bike has a stock, a factory seat on it. When we got the bike, the seat was just a disaster. Like the cover was torn and like there was foam exploding out of everywhere. So I looked around on eBay and found a GS 500 seat that was in basically perfect condition for about $50, I think, and we got that, put it on, and I think it's really comfortable.
Yeah, there's a couple of companies too that sell kits where they sell the replacement cover, and you kind of like shape the foam yourself. They'll send you the block of memory foam, and you kind of do it. I'm trying to remember the name of that company.
I don't know the name of them either, but I was looking at covers for my seat not that long ago by a similar company because I think my bike would look really cool with like a brown saddle because the bike is already tan, and so I found one that was like I think about $100 or $150 for a replacement cover that had like diamond stitching, all over it. And that would look nice. So,
yeah, it's funny because the Gucci it came with two seats. The 10A, it's got a black vinyl seat, and then it came with a brown suede seat because because the Otto, the bike that it's styled after, the V8 Grand Prix bike, had a brown suede saddle, and I didn't realize it until I saw another one that was for sale on eBay. That saddle originally was like a dark chocolate brown, and mine's kind of. The bike was never kept in the sun, but it naturally faded to this kind of light buckskin brown color.
Yeah.
I kind of moved the strap, in the back across the back of the seat, and you could see where it was the darker color underneath. So I thought about having it recovered with that darker color, but then I thought, you know what? This is an original. I'm going to leave it alone. Just keep it the way it is.
Yeah, that Gucci is a pretty, I guess, rare
Yeah, they had it on Rare Sport Bikes a couple weeks ago. There was one on eBay that was for sale. There was one on eBay that was for sale with 1,200 original miles on it. With the guy had all the original documentation, the paperwork, the sales form, everything. It was in his collection. It just kind of sat there.
Yeah, I wonder how it runs. If it's been
Well,
sitting that long.
I don't know. And the problem with those when they first came out was the paint. Oh, that motor had an issue where it was coming off. Mm-hmm. And Moto Guzzi had an offer of either they'll take the motor, the bike back, repaint the engine, or they would give you $1,000 in accessories. Most people took the $1,000 in accessories because all they really did was repaint the engine with Harley crinkle paint. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And that's what mine had been done to it. The previous owner took the $1,000, and I think that's where the exhaust came from, because it's got a Stucci crossover in it and Mistral exhaust. So I think he used that credit towards the exhaust, and it's got a power commander in it too. And then just crinkle painted the engine cases, and they look perfectly fine. They look like new with
Sounds
that
like
Harley.
I would have done.
Yeah, the Harley paint. But so you had some fun during the 4th of July. What'd you do? You went over to Dave's place?
Well, right before that, like the Friday before, I went on a ride with work. We had me and Tom actually talked about it on the little interview we did last week. But yeah, I rode up to me and like 9 guys from work we went on this motorcycle ride to this this Native American casino for lunch, and got there like an hour too soon. Like the buffet didn't open until 11, and we got there at 10. We didn't realize how quickly we were going to get there. And so a few guys went and played some blackjack, and I just kind of sat around. I didn't. That was the first time in my life I had ever set foot inside of a casino. And Jess and I had talked about that, and I was like, well, I'm not going to gamble because I kind of want to like we want to go together, because I've literally never gambled aside from just like betting somebody for something at work, like a random bet.
I bet you $5 you can't do that. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, stuff like that. I've never gambled in any other way, and I've never been inside of a casino, and so that was the first time I'd been in a casino, and it was, whatever. It was like a small Native American casino on the reservation out here. And then we hung around, and we ate lunch. The buffet was fun. We were like super loud, like laughing really loud, like talking about like dumb work stuff. I feel like we were probably offending the people around us a little bit because we were kind of loud. And then we rode up to the top of this mountain that's nearby, and it was fun. And then we just kind of split up after that. And so that was Friday. And then on Sunday, the 2nd, Dave at Cerberus Moto had a barbecue, and they had like 5 different kinds of hot dogs. Like Jen really went all out. She like it looked like she hand wrapped these hot dogs. Like, so she had bacon, like there was regular hot dogs, and then there was bacon wrapped hot dogs, bacon cheese hot dogs, and bacon jalapeno hot dogs. And then regular hot dogs that had been like soaked in beer and then cooked.
Pork wrapped pork.
Yeah.
Yum. Yeah.
And I mean, and she made German potato salad. She made like a bean salad, coleslaw. They had like every way to cook onions. They had grilled onions, pickled onions, plain onions. It was like she really went all out. And then Dave had the Goodwood Festival of Speed videos, like playing up on a projector on the wall.
Did they have fireworks?
No, we can't have, like, California's really strict about fireworks. So no fireworks, but there were fireworks on the 4th that, put on by the city.
Yeah, no, Florida's like, there's a Neptune fireworks store in every corner, even though it's not legal. You sign a piece of paper that says that you promise that you're only using these for an athletic event or for pest control. Some nonsense, whatever loophole they find in the state law. And I'm house sitting for a friend down by the beach. So I kind of walked down to the beach and watched the city's fireworks, and had gone to a barbecue from some of the guys for the fire department beforehand. Mm-hmm. And then came back here, and somebody was setting off explosions like you wouldn't believe. I mean, it sounded like either M80s or ash cans, or it was so loud it shook the windows in this place. It was crazy.
Wow.
But it was fun. The barbecue I went to, they had a lot of good food, and it was good people. It was a good night. Didn't get to ride. The traffic was crazy in here for that,
Yeah.
so I wasn't going to attempt riding.
Jess and I took the kids to a friend of ours on the 4th for a barbecue, and we made German potato salad ourselves. So she had never had it until we went to the barbecue at Cerberus, and I was like, "Oh, I haven't had this in years. I love this stuff." So we made some, and it was really good.
So speaking of gambling, I had a friend of mine who's a federal agent send me a video of a bet that he made where this video starts off and you hear the guy say to this guy, all right, $5 and I bet you that I can keep my head in a bucket of ice water longer than you can keep your head in there. So they've got there's just like, these guys are out at the shooting range and there's this giant cooler of ice water. And this guy sticks his head in here. Well, I'm watching this video, texting the guy going, that's really stupid. You could really hurt yourself doing that. And the guy holds his head in the ice water for about 45 seconds, comes out, and the other guy hands him the $5 bill and goes, you won.
I had a feeling that was going to happen.
I was like, oh, that's beautiful. The guy fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. Yeah, speaking of casinos, I was kind of the same way as you. I refused to even put like a nickel in a slot machine.
Mm-hmm.
Where when I used to work in the dive industry on my days off, we would go to the big diving trade show called DEMA, and it was in Vegas. And they were like, oh, come on, just, bet a dime in a slot machine. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I refuse. It's not giving my money away. Well, I went to a charity event that was like a charity casino night, one of these things where they give you $1,000 in fake chips, and you can buy prizes and stuff. And I took a lesson on how to play craps. Mm-hmm. And figured out, it's actually kind of fun. So the last time we went to Vegas, it was for a friend of mine's 50th birthday. And I said, I'm only going to spend $100. That's it.
Yeah.
And I played craps for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours and came home with like $70. So I had 5 or 6 hours of fun for $30. That's the way I look at it. It's just entertainment.
That's not bad at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I didn't win any money, but I enjoy going there and kind of watching the game and seeing how things happen and the excitement at the table and everything.
Yeah.
I don't like pissing money away,
Right. One of the guys that I went riding with won $200 at Blackjack, like just in like an hour while we were sitting there.
Yeah. I mean, I see people that do okay. I don't know. I always think you're never going to the house always wins no matter what.
There's like I've been told a couple of times the sort of like the strategy, because there's like a set of rules that if you follow the rules of the game, it's the game that has the most favorable odds. And if you follow the rules, the house's odds, the house still has more favorable odds, but it's the way to have the best chance of winning anything, I guess. Unless unless you're like counting cards and all that sort of stuff, which I can't do. So like I've been told, like, don't hit on this if the dealer has all those sort of rules, like what to do, how to play. Right. But I've never tried it, and I'd have to like brush up again if I was going to.
Yeah, craps has its own set of rules too. There's certain bets you just don't make because they're sucker bets, and there's certain, you'll see people that have like a system that they think that when something happens, they do this, and it's kind of interesting, but you can make some safe bets in craps. I mean, they're not all safe, but the odds are better than other bets. And it's just fun. So speaking of that, Vegas, we're going to be there for 2018 AIM. 2017 is in Columbus. Are you going to go?
I'm trying to, yeah. I put in, after listening to your interview with Larry, actually, I listened to it on the ride back from the casino and going up to that mountain and everything, I listened to your interview with Larry, and he totally sold me on wanting to go to Columbus.
Yeah, I want to
So
go too. I just don't have the time this year.
yeah, so I looked at plane tickets, and then I looked at and I put in for press credentials for me and Jess. I haven't I haven't heard back, which I I did it like right before the 4th of July, so I figured, I'd give him a few days. I emailed Brandon, the guy that we had been emailing back and forth with, to set up that interview with Larry. So hopefully that'll go somewhere. If they give me press credentials, I'm going.
Okay. Well, I sent you out the audio gear and the camera and everything
Yeah.
yesterday.
I ordered some new stickers, which are just like our old stickers. So everybody that, I've been kind of running low, and so I'm gonna send. Well, I went to send them to you yesterday, or Jess did, and the post office was like closed because they're renovating part of the building. So I'll send those out on Monday when I go to work.
Yeah, no rush. I got some people here that I owe stickers to, and then I'll take them to Overland Expo as well. And I'm going to try to make barber.
These are the only difference between these and the last shipment of stickers I got was that the last ones were like on a square piece of paper, and then you peel them off. These are all like the paper is cut out from around them so that it's just the sticker.
Right. I saw that. It looked a little bit better.
Yeah, it does look nice.
Yeah.
Jess had a $50 credit with a company, so I was able to get more of them.
So what are the dates again for that?
For AIM?
Yeah.
AIM is the 21st. For non-media, it's the 22nd, the weekend of the 22nd. So 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. The media day is the 21st, that Thursday.
Are you going to try to go for the whole weekend or just media?
It depends on. I'm going to look at ticket prices, like plane ticket prices and stuff. Jess and I were thinking about flying in on the 20th and then having the whole day Thursday, and then maybe some of the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be back out here before the 25th. I can't like take a whole week or something and like make a vacation out of it or anything. It'd only be a couple days. I have to be back here for something on the 25th.
Well,
I was thinking about maybe because Columbus is like 2 hours from Cleveland. I was thinking about seeing if the guys from Cleveland Moto are going to go, or if they're not going to go, maybe going out and seeing them one day and then flying home the next or something.
How far are they from the venue?
About 2 hours.
Okay. You know if Chuck or Todd, did you mention, are they going?
I don't know.
Let's contact them and see. Yeah, I'd like to be able to go to that as well this year, but I think with going to Barber or for sure Overland Expo and then maybe Barber, it's going to be too much in 1 year for getting time off work.
I want to go to. I was looking at the dates for Overland out here, and it's like May, I think 16th or something.
Yeah, it's mid-May.
Yeah. I may be deployed.
So where?
I don't know actually. There's a ship. The Navy has a hospital ship. They have two, and one on each coast, and the one out here is the USNS Mercy. I guess they're going on a 6-month deployment starting in February, and our squadron is supposed to send 2 aircraft, I believe, and all the accompanying people. And I believe that right now I am slated to go on that.
You ever been on a deployment like that before?
Not on that kind of ship. No, I've been on a different USNS ship. So USNS ships are not all Navy. They are mostly civilian. They're like crewed by civilian merchant marines.
What does that stand for? NS, USNS?
United States Naval Ship, as opposed to United States Ship.
Okay.
All the Navy supply ships are USNS, so they're all merchant marine. and then they have some Navy on them, like just a couple. Like I've done a USNS deployment, and without the helicopters on board, they had 8 Navy personnel on board the ship.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's what Spencer. He's Merchant Marine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The group, I guess the organization that does the Navy ones is called Maritime Service Command, or no, Military Sea Lift Command. It's MSC.
Okay.
And it's like they're kind of under the Navy. Like it's a weird, complicated thing. Like everybody that works for MSC is part of this giant pool of people, and you can like rotate on and off different ships. There's like a pool of people just waiting to go on a ship like at all times. And so we had guys on when I was on my deployment. Every time we pulled into port, we had some people get off and some people get on. Because basically, if you want to say you wanted to take 2 weeks off, you go take your time off. You get off the ship wherever, you take your 2 weeks off, and then you go back into the pool and wait for, the ship. That's like how it works for like most of the crew. And then for the officers, like the captain of the ship is called the ship's master. They have a totally different sort of system, but like the ship's master, when I was on the ship I was on, him and his brother switched halfway through the deployment.
That's kind of weird. So once again, we're not talking about motorcycles at all.
No. But yeah, I may be deployed during during Overland
West.
But if I'm not deployed,
speaking of Overland, I saw the first rough cut of the first installment of the First Ride Up the Divide movie.
Nice.
Yeah, it's actually really
you guys
good.
Like cutting it into like a mini series sort of thing.
Yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a web series first that are about 15 to 20-minute episodes. And then probably once that's over with, put together the whole thing into a longer movie with some scenes that weren't used in the first cuts. It's kind of slow going just because we're trying to do it with a reduced budget, and we're using a guy, a British editor out of Hong Kong. And the guy's really good. It's just, he's working on other projects at the same time.
Sure.
And between myself and Spencer and this guy, it's just kind of dragging a little bit. We're going to have Spencer back on to talk about it as soon as we get that episode released. We're hoping to have the first 2 episodes released by Overland Expo East, which is end of September, beginning of October.
Okay.
It'll be pretty cool. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. People will get a kick out of it.
Cool. I'm excited about that.
Speaking of gear, the Overland Expo, I spent a lot of time now with this Climb drifter jacket that I have, and I gotta tell you, I spent the other day photographing. I'm gonna write a review on it, and I spent the day photographing a bunch of little details on it. For a $300 jacket, the fit and finish on this thing and what you get for $300 is a lot.
Yeah.
Well, it's all D3O for the armor. And it's
really good.
Yeah, it's a wide piece of back armor, shoulder, elbow, and what's really like just little things that are attention to detail. For instance, if you ever notice sometimes in jackets where they have an armor plate in the back, they kind of like sew in a pocket. They'll like stitch up the 2 layers together to form a pocket, and then they'll have like Velcro across the top to keep it in. Well, this has one of those hidden zippers in the liner, so that when you zip it up, it kind of closes over and you can't really see the zipper. The liner on the inside is a very nice material. It's really soft. It's a print. Just little things like that. And you'll see them in the pictures that I shot when I present it. But if you're looking for a jacket, this jacket comes in around $299 for the regular sizes. And I think the double or triple XL goes up to like $319. But it's wax cotton. It's not, it's not a Gore-Tex jacket. It's not inherently waterproof. There's not waterproof zippers on it. But if you're someplace where it's kind of chilly and, it's misty out and you might get a light rain, for $300, and it's stylish too. So you can easily ride this on a vintage bike, on a cafe bike. It doesn't look like an adventure jacket or a sport bike jacket. It's cut to look like kind of just a vintage jacket. It's got a zipper that goes up the center, and then it's got rare earth magnets that look like snaps.
Oh,
So
cool.
once you zip it up, the snaps just kind of fall into place, and they're held in with magnets. So it looks really neat.
I like that instead of having some kind of, actual snap or
Yeah.
Velcro that's eventually going to wear out. I mean, that's the first thing that started to go on my Revit jacket. It took a long
The
time. It held
Velcro.
up really well, but still, it's, the Velcro from the bottom is starting to come off.
Yeah, hook and loop doesn't last forever. It wears out after a while, and especially if it's starting to pull on other things. That's the other thing I can't stand about the hook is it'll grab on other types of material and pull on it.
Yeah.
There are 2 snaps on the jacket. Well, actually, there's 4. There's snaps at the cuffs. There's snap. It's got a mandarin collar, and then there's a snap at the waist. But there's no venting in it either. They have another jacket a price point above called the Revner that has venting in it. This doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I say it doesn't have any vents, it's got some pit vents that are like grommet hole type vents that are kind of always there.
Like little, little grommets.
Yeah, but there's nothing. There's no zippered vents or anything like that. But if you're looking for something that you want to keep a certain particular look to, and you don't want a sport bike jacket, look at the Drifter.
It sounds
I'm thinking we're gonna
similar to the Aerostitch Falstaff.
Yeah. It's not as functional as the Falstaff is. I think
maybe better looking though.
Well, some people. I think to me the Falstaff is reminiscent of the British bellwether jackets, where this is a little bit more of a modern cut. And the one that I have is kind of large. It's the double XL, but there's a lot of room to layer in it. So if it got cold and you wanted to put another layer underneath it, you have plenty of room. I think I probably could have fit in an XL as well in this jacket. But you have one coming to you to try out as well.
Yeah.
I believe Spencer's going to ship you one, yeah.
Nice.
And so you've been looking at some new product too, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm going to grab it because I like to have things in front of me. So I'll grab it. It's right here.
So I'll tell you what he got. We had Schuberth send us the M1 helmet, which is their 3/4 helmet. And I have not seen one yet. I think they debuted them when we were at AIM, but I don't remember if it was the same helmet.
Yeah. My air conditioner just kicked on and it's like blowing right on my back. It's cold. So yeah, you convinced Schuberth to send me an M1, which is their 3/4 helmet. I honestly a 3/4 helmet. There, got a little room. I had not used a 3/4 helmet other than the Shark that I have that has those goggles built in. I'd never used one before. So this was new in terms of functionality and what it's like. I really like this thing. I took a bunch of pictures the other day. I'm gonna write a review and post all those pictures and kind of.
So looks like there's a lot of coverage on the side going down the jawline.
Yeah,
like
there
it
is.
appears that helmet.
A lot of them just kind of like cut straight down,
right
from the edge of the eye port. And this one, it comes down your cheeks a lot.
And then the shield is massive on that. It looks like it
really is.
It's bigger than any 3/4 shield I've ever seen before.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely. Maybe what one of the big differences is, and I could be wrong, but maybe the eye port on the sides is actually cut further back, which makes it look like it comes more forward on your jaw.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, but it's really nice. The people that have ridden with 3/4 face helmets are probably like, well, yeah, duh, of course you can see a lot. But by comparison to the Shark, which has goggles, this thing has, I can just see so much more. I don't have to turn my head as far to see stuff. It has the little drop down sun visor inside which drops down far enough. It's not. I had a helmet, an HJC flip face before that. the sun visor, you didn't really seem like it came down quite far enough.
Right.
This one does, which is great.
How's the venting in it? I noticed there's a really large top vent.
Yeah, so this is the only vent on the front because obviously the chin is just wide open, and lifting it up like this is what opens it up.
Mm-hmm.
When I've been riding with earplugs on in it, and it lets in enough air that I can actually like hear the air coming in the vent when I open it up. I like it. It's good. The back vent is also like the Schuberth logo.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a neat little style.
Can you ride with that shield up?
I haven't tried. I ride on the freeway in California. It'd probably
Right.
yank my head right off. They do sell a so that the shield comes off without tools like most helmets do. They sell a piece that replaces the shield for people that want to ride a because some 3/4 helmets don't have a shield at all. They just have like a little lip of a visor or something. They sell a thing for you to do that. You can put that on this and take the shield off, and it covers up all the little seals where the shield goes, so it doesn't. So it cleans up the look. It looks really nice that way. This one came with the Schuberth calls it the SRC. It's the little communication system like Bluetooth. All the Schuberth helmets now come with microphones and speakers pre-installed, regardless of whether you buy the Bluetooth or not.
Interesting.
Yeah, the C3 Pro, the R2, this thing, and then everything coming out new that's not out yet, like the C4 and stuff. They all come with that built in, so you don't have to go in and install a microphone or anything. If this one hadn't had the communication system on it, there's just a plate, like a blank off plate that covers this hole.
Right. Where is the comm system?
What do you mean?
Like where? Hold on a second. Where is? Give me 1 sec. I'm going to switch the mic over so the camera so I can see you. No, where is the actual comm? I don't see it. That's it in your hand?
Yeah, it's just little thing. It snaps on the back. Let me get it back on. Okay. So it snaps onto the back, and then it curves around to the left side of your helmet. So when you're riding, you just reach up kind of the back left of your head, and there's really big ridges for the 3 buttons. They're really easy to feel through gloves. There's only 3 buttons. There's a volume up, a volume down, and then a multifunction button.
Okay.
I'm still getting the hang of it. Like I'm used to riding with the Senna, which has a wheel and 2 buttons. So there's definitely a learning curve transition between the two.
And the thing is, it's very low profile. I didn't even notice it.
Extremely low profile. And it's not in the wind at all. And then as far as the microphones, and yes, I said microphones.
There's 2 of them?
Yeah, there's 2 microphones there's one behind each cheek pad. I don't know if I took pictures, you'll be able to see, but that's the thing I'm kind of pointing to in the video. That's a microphone, and there's one on each side. I'm curious. The other helmets, the full face helmets, have a microphone. Their microphones are up in the top, I believe, is where I was told they are, like up in your forehead area.
Mm-hmm.
This one, like I said, they're like one on each side of the one behind each cheek pad. And
well, that's kind of interesting that you say that. So the other one's microphones are up by the forehead.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I read.
Interesting.
I could be wrong.
Well, the only reason I'm saying that is because there's another company that uses a similar system. I don't want to mention a name, but there's another company that uses a system where the microphones are up there.
Yeah. This helmet, the Bluetooth, is made by Cardo. And so it doesn't automatically sync up with my Senna 20S in like an easy way. I can put the
Right.
Sena 20S in like universal intercom mode. I haven't tried it or anything. I've only ridden by myself with this helmet on. I'd like to get Jess on the back and ride around and try the universal intercom because I've never done it. And I'd also, I mean, you could also just use a cell phone call and call the person you're talking to, which I've done before with her.
Yeah, I've tried to link the Cardo Pack Talk to the. I think the mistake I made was I was trying to link it to an SMH10, and I don't think it has the universal feature on it.
I don't think they do either.
Yeah.
The charging port in this thing is really easy to get to. It's like just a little flap on the side, so you don't even really need to take it off the helmet to charge it. And then the firmware update process is all done through a website instead of like you don't have to download a program or anything. It just downloads like a little plugin for your browser basically, and then everything's
it's really easy to update
Cardo's
them.
website.
Yeah.
I was pleased with that. It was super simple.
It's super easy to do the updates on those.
Yeah. The interior liner is all seamless. Like there's each piece is like molded around and then I guess glued or fused to like a little backing piece that's kind of stiff. So it all holds a nice shape inside. I took the whole liner out and put it back in the other day. That was tricky. Like taking it out was super easy. Putting it back in, obviously, was the tricky part. But it feels really nice. The way the fabric inside feels. It's a really high quality feeling fabric.
So compared to other helmets, what do you think?
So this helmet, as it's configured with the communication system and everything, is like $660.
Huh.
As of right now, I think it's worth it. I like it a lot. The speakers are really good. I like the speakers in this better than the speakers that came with the 20S. It may just be the helmet. It could be that this helmet is quieter than my other helmet. But I can put earplugs in and listen to a podcast and hear all the speaking just fine. In this helmet, I can't do that in the Shark. And I don't know if it's the speakers or the speaker placement or the helmet itself, but
they've been known to be a quiet helmet, in general, Schuberth.
To be honest, I didn't even know Schuberth made anything except for their flip up face C3 and then the E1, which is their adventure one.
No, they actually make, and besides this, they make helmets for law enforcement and for firefighting. And
yeah, I when I went to their website, I saw like they make all these other products. I was like, oh, huh, weird.
Right. Well, that's cool. Wow. Hopefully we'll get a full review.
Yeah, I sent an email to our contact with Schuberth just to kind of chat about a few things. And I also asked if we could, have somebody on the show. So hopefully we'll get somebody on the show. We can talk more about that helmet and then the other ones that are coming out soon.
Yeah.
I'd like
to talk about the C4, the new version.
Yeah, I would like a new full face helmet. And so I'd love to talk about that and maybe, buy a new C4.
Well, I've always been a fan of flip ups, and I've really liked using the adventure style helmet that I've been using between the Nex and the Climb and, a couple other ones, but I haven't had a good flip up helmet in a while. We both used the Monaco, the laser Monaco, which it fit me a little weird. It was too tight front to back. It was more round than an oval. Yeah. And it seemed like that when you closed it, it was almost like my nose was touching the visor.
It was a very small, like it was really right
short
up against your face.
Front to back, it seemed like.
Yeah.
And then I've had KBCs, I've had HJCs, I've had a bunch of different flip ups and never, there was always one thing. Like I had a Nolan for a while that I liked, the 90, the N90, but then the next version that came out, whatever it was, the 104 or something, didn't fit me right. They changed the shell shape a little bit. So I'm really interested to see what that C4 is like, because I like wearing a flip up.
Yeah, I've been afraid, I guess, to spend that much money on a helmet. And I mean before, like I Laser sent me the Monaco. I didn't buy that one, but I liked it a lot. I liked a lot of the features it had. And then using this Schuberth, I'm like, this is a really nice helmet. Maybe it's worth it to spend that much money on a helmet. I've never, the most expensive helmet I've ever bought was that Shark, and it was at like $300.
Right.
My HJC was like 160 or $180, and it was a flip face that I had. I've never been willing to like really go all out on a helmet.
Yeah, no, I've spent a lot of money on full face helmets. Like I have an AGV that was like 700. Yeah. And I've spent a lot of money on a Rise in the past that were, a little north of that.
Yeah.
But I personally don't mind spending. Some people say, "Oh, you're really throwing your money away because a rating's a rating." But I don't. Listen, I can tell the comfort in the feature set and the fit and finish and how it operates from one helmet to the next easily.
And that was kind of the big thing that pushed me over. In the few times I've ridden with the Schuberth, is I can really feel the difference from a lower, like a more budget conscious helmet. One thing I do kind of wish that on this Schuberth that has the little click retention strap, instead of the double D-ring. I wish that the one side was like a quarter of an inch longer. Because it's just it's like right up in there against the pad, and it
can't be adjusted. You're sure it can't be adjusted?
The one side's adjustable, the other side isn't.
Okay. All right.
It's fine. It's like, again, it's just a learning curve thing. I'm used to the double D-ring, and so I've just got to get used to it. The next full face, the XG100 that I have.
Yeah.
You know how helmets always have that little padding that goes between your chin and the chin strap?
Right.
The next one has like a foot more padding than it needs, so it like overlaps really far.
Yeah, they did it on purpose. I talked to Ricardo about that, the vice president of the company, and the idea behind that was to completely pad that area so you didn't feel the buckle or anything.
Oh, well, it worked.
Yeah. I mean, and if you don't do it right, it kind of like hangs out. Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, it's like I said, there'll be a full review posted to the website soon about the Schuberth. I want to give that next helmet away, so we'll figure that out.
Okay.
I've hardly worn it. It's practically new.
Well, what do you think about? I was going to ask you the Monaco. You and I have worn the crap out of that, but I can clean it up. You want to give it away so someone can just get an idea of what it's like?
Yeah, I'm fine with that too. I don't need it for anything.
We've got a laser Monaco that we both have worn, and it's got a lot of miles on it. But I'll clean it up, and send me, if you want to see it, send me an email, and I'll send it out to the first person that sends me an email.
Yeah, we'll figure out what to do with the next helmet. It's basically a new helmet, so
we're gonna run a contest.
Yeah. I think that's gonna do it. I don't really have anything else that I can talk about.
No, let's talk about your interview with Tom next show.
Yeah, everybody, I can't count. I said it was episode 110.
It's okay.
During the interview, because I forgot that the previous episode that Steve did was episode 110.
It wouldn't be our show if we didn't screw up something on it.
Yeah, totally. This interview, this intro went surprisingly smoothly. So,
right. All right, man. I got nothing else. Check us out everywhere. We're on the interwebs: Instagram, Facebook, the Cafe Racer Podcast. We're on the Twitters at Cafe Racer Pod. And hey, listen, man, if you're not on Patreon and you're not giving us some money, you're missing all the fun on Slack.
Yeah, there's a ton of fun going on in Slack.
Yep.
If you support us at the $5 level, you'll get a bunch of stickers, including some of the new stickers I just got, and we're about halfway to the everybody on Patreon gets a T-shirt goal. Um, if we hit the $100 a month goal, I'm gonna send everybody. I don't have the T-shirts made because I'm waiting for the money, but I'm gonna make a T-shirt and send everybody on Slack, or not Slack, everybody on Patreon, a free Cafe Racer Podcast Show T-shirt in the size of your choice. So
we could really use the help too. It helps us put the show on. It helps us to pay for the bandwidth and
yeah, I mean, I
everything else.
used some of the Patreon money to buy stickers. I'm going to use Patreon money to go to Columbus.
Right.
And it's not going to cover the whole trip, to be honest. It's going to cover like one plane ticket. But yeah, if you like the show and you get some value out of it, we would really appreciate you giving us a little value back.
$1 a month helps a lot for us. That's $12 a year. Yeah. All right, man.
So, all right, well, get out there and ride.
See ya.